we see a world where there is a direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature.
Good morning. Our topic for today is created to be happy, purposeful, and enthusiastic. It's based on an idea in our vision statement for our movement. And you can see the vision statement when you walk into the sanctuary. It's on the wall above the main entrance in an abbreviated form. In its extended language, the full language, this is what the idea looks like. We encourage our community members to live courageous, fearless lives and to be passionate about its possibilities. See, because we've got this sense that when you and I live passionately, fearlessly, and with bravery, that we become an inspiration for each other, that we become a blessing to everyone and everything around us. All of life is lifted up when we touch our passion and live from it. And we're not saying that difficult things don't happen in life. Of course they do. We understand that there are times when we may even be plunged into sadness. Of course we will. Why, just recently, one of the young men who grew up in the center was killed in an auto accident, just 23 years old. There's no getting around the grief that goes with something like that. Now, we don't say that life is a pretend happiness. No, the happiness we're talking about is a soul happiness that comes when we help each other, even when we are struggling. That comes when we love each other, even when we are personally sad. That comes when we share with each other, even when we may need ourselves, when we are enthusiastic about life's possibilities, even though we have challenges of our own. Oh, I love that word, enthusiastic. It was a good word. You know, I was thinking about an old meaning of the word enthusiastic, a meaning that's not in use anymore today, but at one time it meant to be possessed by God. To be inspired by God. Oh, to think about that. To be possessed by the power of creation itself and to let it inspire me into bravery and passionate living. Oh. Now, this month we've been talking about that word in our teaching, that phrase in our teaching that goes like this. There is a power for good in the universe greater than I am. And today we're adding to it, and I am possessed by it. Isn't that wonderful? There is a power that creates and sustains everything out of itself. And I'm inspired by it to use it to improve my attitude to life. Oh, and when I do use this power, it generates love and connection and caring because that's what its nature is. It doesn't try to do anything else. It's not scheming and plotting and planning. It's not testing and judging and tricking. No, it's just hanging out, inspiring passion in those who notice it. Well, and that's the trick, isn't it? In those who notice it. There it is. You and I have to notice it in order to be able to express it. It's there, but I've got to notice it before it can possess me. You know, the recommended reading for this month is so good in articulating this. Vital Signs, The Nature and Nurture of Passion by Greg Lavoie, who's been here to speak twice before. What a beautiful book about it. In page 19, The Envy of Angels, Everyday Awe. He writes, try designing a system capable of suspending 1 billion pounds of water in midair with no strings attached. It's called a cloud. And someone who'd never seen one would undoubtedly find it fascinating. Oh, but try working up enthusiasm for clouds when you've lived with them every day of your life and forgotten, or more likely never knew how amazing it is that even a modest-sized cloud, an everyday cloud like a cumulus a half a mile high and wide, weighs as much as 1.5 billion pounds total. And that's according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Now, a good-sized cumulonimbus cloud, a thunderhead 5 or 6 miles on each side, an everyday summer cloud, say in New Mexico, weighs nearly 14 billion pounds, one cloud. Even the word billion is just another everyday thing. Why, the McDonald's near my house proclaims billions and billions sold. But if you counted off one number every second, day and night, it would take you 32 years to count to 1 billion. It would take you 12 days just to count to 1 million. And even if you literally had all the time in the world, say the entire age of the universe, you couldn't count to 1 quintillion, which would take you 32 billion years to do. It's self-evident then that we should try to find wonder in our own backyards. We should learn to re-sacralize the world by falling back in love with the ordinary and everyday. But the everyday is actually the hardest place to find wonder and to become re-impassioned about, because its wonders have usually long since been drained away by familiarity. Whoa. There was something I wanted to tell you, and I can't find it in my notes. Oh, well, anyway, he talks about the antidote to the ordinary being to fall in love with life again. And when we do that, it becomes contagious. When we find our passion for life and get into it, it communicates this to someone else. Oh, I remembered. It's about a nun. I read about a nun a long time ago, and I believe I read about her in the Reader's Digest ages ago. Remember the Reader's Digest? I used to love that. And it's the story of this nerdy nun, Sister Wendy Beckett. Oh yeah, remember her. She had a passion for art. But she didn't make any big deal about it. She just went about her business. She lived in a trailer in the forest of East Anglia, England, for the longest time, studying art. And for years, she was a model of worldly renunciation and contemplation. And then a life-changing moment occurred at an art exhibition where she was standing and with enthusiasm and passion making comments about art to a friend of hers, and the camera people overheard her and asked if they could film her. And when the BBC heard it played back, they smelled gold. And she was put on a series of internationally televised arts programs and really became beloved to literally millions of people who, through her passion, learned to be impassioned about art too. You can say she went from nundom to stardom overnight. But it wasn't overnight, because it took Sister Wendy, I think it was 40-something years of teaching and solitude and appreciation to really work with this passion for art. She found a fame that she wasn't looking for. And when she got into her passion, it was delicious to other people to witness. And that story reminds me of how important it is for us to be ourselves, like the universal divine life, not scheming, not planning, just exploring and expressing our passion for life. How to find your passion. And of course, when I find a passion, I've got to make sure that my passion is in harmony with life, right? I mean, If I have a passion for stealing, or if I have a passion for being destructive, or if I have passion for inappropriately touching people without their permission, I'm not recommending you just go for it. No, because the message of the divine is not like that. The message that divine life broadcasts through us when we let it possess us, inspire us, is always a message that is consistent with its nature. It always inspires us to love, to collaborate, to care, to express compassion, to communicate. It inspires us to appreciate nature and art and aesthetics. It inspires us to health and wellness and wholeness. One way to let life possess us and inspire us is to become fascinated with what is possible, because there is no end to what we can do with our freedom, and that's fascinating. So that's something to get excited about, the possibilities that we haven't yet experienced. No matter what age a person is, no matter what troubles they've accumulated, they have not yet expressed all the possibilities that are stored inside of them. That's exciting. I read an article, I think it was the New York Times. I collect these little snippets of things, and then I forget where they came from. But it was a story about astronomers who found extra light in the universe. They figured that this extra starlight must come from invisible stars or invisible galaxies. And they were surprised because the universe, it turns out, has more light in it that can be explained by the known stars and galaxies. The article says this light goes into a sort of cosmic safety box where starlight gets stars up. And it looks like there were a lot of hidden accounts that we didn't know about. This is the team of researchers who've been sifting through millions of measurements in the sky. It made me think, about you and I and our untapped light. I'd like you to try that on. Think about that. You have extra light from invisible sources. Or you could say it like this. You have a beautiful and magnificent ability that you have not yet discovered. You have in you something that money can't buy. You have a natural ability to love and to care, and you can't learn it in school. Well, maybe you can. You have a passion that when you touch is magical and interesting. You have within you a dynamic and wonderful power, and using it can be as simple as turning on a smile. Using the light that is in you can be as simple as being kind. Using the light that is in you can be as simple as caring about other people, about plants, about animals, about our planet. Using the light that is in you can be as easy as sharing, giving, volunteering. It can be as ordinary as being interested in anything. Just being interested is how you use your light that has never been expressed before. And it can also be as gritty and as challenging as choosing non-violent thoughts in a social atmosphere of contention and division. It can be as challenging and as powerful as not giving up in a climate of hopelessness and confusion. It can be as demanding and as serious as refusing to lower the personal bar of respect for other people and for country and for life. Holiness comes to life when we notice it and get into it. And it goes to sleep when we don't. When we are selfish, or when we are egocentric and self-centered and competitive and combative and violent and deceptive and suspicious, it doesn't go away. It's just that we don't see it when our eyes are focused on something else. One of the best ways I know to let life inspire me, possess me, is to practice what it is, love. To practice loving and to practice it on an epic level by making it larger every day than I did the day before, since I have all of this untapped light in me. Why not? The vision of the Center for Spiritual Living invites us to do that, to live courageous and fearless lives, and to be passionate about the possibilities of it, and to not settle for just being human, but to embrace the vast life of spirit that is within us. Oh, I wish I had discovered this message a long, long, long time ago. And I wish that every person can have it available to them, this idea that they belong here, and that they are important and valuable and creative, and that they have within them an immense and natural capacity to love. This month at our center, that is exactly what we're asking our friends and members to think about. The place that the center has in your heart. We're asking people to ask themselves, what has the center done for me lately? In what way has it contributed to my awakening, to me living a happy, purposeful, enthusiastic life? How have I grown? How have I changed as a result of the teaching I learned at the center, so that we can put some value on that, not take it for granted, and so that together we can keep the center healthy and vital for a future in which other people have the experience of discovering the truth of their being in much the same way that we might. And we're inviting people to partner with us by completing their giving intention form to let us know what they will be contributing next year, January to December, so we can plan together. And you can do that, complete your giving intention form online or in person today. And if you don't yet know what a giving intention form is, or why it is so important to me that you participate, you can write to me, Edward, at cslsr.org, or you can visit me or any member of the team at the Giving Intention table to ask your questions, and we will answer it all for you. And if you give your intention form today, during the month of October, then you will receive a gratitude gift, which includes an exclusive workshop with me, opening to receptivity, which we will mail to you once you receive your intention. Some of the questions people ask about giving intention is, who can pledge? Well, here's how we answer. Our giving intention program is designed for every individual or group from all financial backgrounds who are inspired by our services and our program and our radio broadcast. All friends and members of the center are welcome to complete a giving intention form. And you inspire us when you generously give an amount that is right for you to help make the world a better place for everyone. Then people ask, how much should I give annually? To which we respond, you're encouraged to give from a sense of joyful gratitude, and the amount is never too little and never too much. What really matters is that we participate together, that we grow together. And if financially giving is a stretch for you right now, what we recommend is you start really, really low. For years, we've invited people, pledge $1 a week and then grow with it. Do you know some of our strongest givers started there? So whatever it is you decide to give, won't you add it up to see what it adds up to a year and write it down and join us in growing. You know, it is easy to take a thing for granted. I know I do sometimes, and I'm working on that, to change that. In Vital Signs, Greg Lavoie writes about it, and he says that to overcome the numbing effect of becoming so familiar with things that we lose track of their holiness or their awe, he says, that what we have to do to break that, what is usually required, is not new vistas, but new eyes. We've got to look at what is in our life already with newness. And he writes, and those eyes don't even have to be yours. You can reintroduce yourself to the charms of your town by seeing it through the eyes of a visitor, and to the wonders of the world through the eyes of your children. You can look at your husband through the eyes of another, your wife through the eyes of another. And those eyes don't even have to be mortal. Here's what he means by that. He talks about the Wim Wenders film, Wings of Heaven, and there's a scene in it in which an angel comes upon a man who has just had a terrible motorcycle accident and is dying. The man is dying. And the angel recites in the dying man's ear all the things the man has loved in his life. The fire on the cattle range, the potato in the ashes, the boathouse floating in the lake, the Southern Cross, the Far East, the Great North, the Wild West, the Great Bear Lake, Tristan da Cunha, the Mississippi Delta, Stromboli, the old houses of Charlottenburg, the morning light, the child's eyes, the swim in the waterfall, the stains from the first raindrop, the sun, the bread and wine, hopping, Easter, the veins of the leaves, the color of stones, the pebbles on stream beds, the white tablecloths outdoors, the dream of a house inside the house, the loved ones asleep in the next room, the peaceful Sunday, the horizon, the night flight, riding a bicycle with no hands, the beautiful stranger, my father, my mother, my child. Life is great because love is great. And this week I invite you to take some time and let love possess you and let it inspire you to recite to yourself all of the things that you have loved. Let the divine possess you with its great and good love. I invite you to breathe in with me and to exhale, letting your eyes close, as we take a moment to enter into the atmosphere of prayer by recognizing that one eternal divine life, everywhere present, eternal, without beginning, without end, immortal, living in all dimensions, expressing all the time, so that we may remember that we move and think and love and feel within this continuum we call divine life. That we are alive with the life of God. That we are thinking, and through us the creativity of the divine is expressing, so that we may realize the truth of our being. And as we speak these words of prayer, it has the effect of shaking off all illusions, all distractions, all downward spiraling thinking, so that we are set free and able once again to let the divine possess us, so that we look out into the world to find with new enthusiasm evidence of holiness, demonstrations of beauty, signs of life. And this allows us to open our hearts into an expansive, wonderful expression of community, and caring, and helping, and mutual nurturing, and health. And we give thanks in advance of even taking our next breath, of even stepping into this world, for we have a sense that there is a conspiracy going on now, as life is preparing to demonstrate to us that which we have declared in prayer. This is according to spiritual law, and we are glad that it is so. And together we say, and so it is.